It is one of the hottest congressional primaries in the city. The front-runners in the race to replace retiring Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez and a test of Mayor Mamdani's coattails. The Point starts right now. Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso has a laundry list of high-powered endorsements, including unions, the Working Families Party, even the woman he wants to replace, retiring Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez. But will it be enough in a bare-knuckles contest that pins progressives versus the Democratic Socialists? Is it enough?
It will be enough. I have a record of the work that I've done. We're talking about things like abolishing ICE. And in my time in the city council, we got ICE out of Rikers Island. We have police reform work that I've been able to do, maternal health work, and actually affecting meaningful change in Black women's lives and being able to save them. We did a migrant resource center in Borough Hall where we gave 6,000 migrants jobs or work authorization. We've shown the work, and I think that that has value to voters, and we're excited about the 23rd.
But this is a race that pits progressives like yourself against your main opponent, who is a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. The question is, what's the main difference between your vision and her vision, and how you see your ability to deliver to New York City, but also dealing with things in Washington? Yeah,
I think the difference you're going to see with any of these candidates, I've already done the work. And what we're looking for in Congress is effective leadership, right? We're all going to kind of say the same things, Marsha. We're not going to have a significantly distinction between our policies and our platforms. What you're going to see is someone that did the hard things already, that has fought, that has been in the trenches, that has seen, got in the kitchen was hot, and I was always present. I was always there. I did the hard things for the movement.
But here is the question. Here is the key question. So, since you don't differ on a lot of things, why are you a better choice to succeed La Luchadora?
Yeah, well, one, I have her endorsement, and it's a blessing, is a reflection of what she thinks is like the legacy that she wants to be able to leave, and I think that that's deeply important. But again, it's just about outcomes. I've been the one that's passed legislation. I've led the Progressive Caucus, founded New Kings Democrats to fight against the Democratic Party. I organized with Acorn for child care providers in the UFT. I think where you're not going to be able to see from any other candidates is a laundry list of the accomplishments that I've had. So it's about being able to deliver. So what you're going to be able to see is a representative that goes to Congress and actually gets things done.
So one of the big things that the two of you support is you talk about Gaza. But my question to you is, when you go to, if you were to get elected and you went to Washington, you'd have to deal with the question of weapons sales to Israel. And do you support any kind of weapon sales to Israel?
I do not support it. Right now...
Not even defensive?
Not even defensive. I think we have to have a conversation about not only Israel, but if we have international partners and a relationship with them, and we have the ICC talking about war crimes and doing things like the genocide in Gaza, for example, we can't allow anyone, not only Israel, but anyone, behave that way and not be held to account. And Israel has a relationship with America where we're not able to have these conversations in earnest. And I think that that is going to change. I think people are already seeing differences. 40 senators voted against sending weapons to Israel just recently.
But the question is whether it's offensive weapons or defensive weapons. And my understanding is that there was a concern about offensive weapons, but that people still support Iron Dome and things for defense.
I think the Iron Dome is deeply important, but until we don't...
So you wouldn't support Iron Dome?
I wouldn't. Definitely under the Netanyahu regime.
So you wouldn't support Iron Dome either? So even if Israel's attacked, they won't be able to stop the weapons?
They're going to be able to protect themselves, and they have the resources in being able to do that. But my big thing is Netanyahu regime shouldn't be getting any resources from the United States of America.
But what if there's a change of regime? Would you change your mind?
There's a conversation that we could talk about, and I think it introduces our ability to reestablish a relationship with Israel. But we have to talk about accountability. We can't allow for us to just allow for a country to proceed with a genocide and think that we're just going to keep it moving. We have to re-establish relationships in a more meaningful and thoughtful way, and right now that's not happening, but it will be happening in the future.
So another issue that's related to that is marching in the Israeli Day Parade, which is Sunday today, the day the show is airing. Will you be marching?
I've never marched in the Israeli Day Parade. I'm not a big parade guy. Can I just say that when I became borough president, I feel like this position was very like a performative position. It's just like cheerleading. And I wanted it to mean something. So I don't throw flag raisings. I don't do Independence Days. All these celebrations that Marty Markowitz and Eric Adams were known for, they just don't happen anymore. And that includes showing up to parades. So I haven't done it in the past, but I've never been to the Israeli Day Parade.
How do you feel about the fact that the mayor of the city of New York has decided not to march? Some people in the Jewish community see that as something that fosters anti-Semitism.
We have to be careful. It's a very tough thing. If it was a Jewish heritage parade, I think it's something that I would see Mayor Mamdani being able to be a part of. But Israel, and talking about the country itself, is a different conversation. And the Jewish community does, we have to have that distinction. What Israel is doing and the Jewish faith and the Jewish people are two different things. And I think what you're seeing is the mayor clearly saying that he doesn't support the actions of Israel and is detached from his feelings about the Jewish people.
I mean, the reason I asked the question, because there has been such a huge increase in anti-Semitic incidents, especially in your borough. Yeah, they have been. And I wonder if that's a concern of yours.
It's a huge concern. I don't think we've done a good job of being able to dispel or like lessen the amount of anti-Semitism that's happened. I think we really need to have someone that can unite people and bring people together, have more serious conversations about what attacking anti-Semitism looks like. But we have not been successful, and it's been very scary for many families, Jewish families in Brooklyn. And we're thinking outside the box and as thoughtful as we possibly can to like really push back against the hate that we're seeing not only in our borough but in our city.
So I'd like to switch to housing. I wonder how you feel about some of the new housing proposals. Do you think that wealthy neighborhoods should be forced to have affordable housing?
100%. I have a comprehensive plan that I put out in Brooklyn, and it specifically talks about the fact that we have neighborhoods that are mostly affluent and white, but mostly affluent, that have built almost no housing in the city of New York. Sheepshead Bay and Bay Ridge have built less than 9 units of housing. Forget about affordable housing, just housing.
And parts of Manhattan as well.
And parts of Manhattan. I'm the Brooklyn Borough president, so I had that other borough that I don't go to very often.
But let me ask you something. When you were in the council, if there was something that was going to go on in your district, you had the right to stop it. Yeah. And the question is this: if a neighborhood opposes a new housing development, should they be able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely not.
But you were able to do it when you were in the council.
Well, what happened 12 years ago to what's happening now, when you have a crisis, you need a crisis level response. And the crisis right now is housing. The affordability is hitting every single family in our country, not only in our city. So we can't solve for this comprehensive citywide solution with local conversations. We need to be able to have a larger view, which is why the City of Yes was a good move. And we have to be very careful about allowing council members and this member deference to shut down projects that are needed and essential for the people of the City of New York.
So if you were to get elected, what would you do to push back against Trump-era actions that you may find reprehensible?
It's accountability. I feel that right after Trump lost and Biden won, that the Democratic Party went back to business as usual. They went back to thinking that what Donald Trump and the regime was a flash in the pan. And they didn't do any accountability, oversight, no subpoenas or investigations. They just didn't do enough of it. When we get there, we can't allow that to happen. People are breaking laws, they're doing illegal things, and we should be holding people accountable. And I think that's one of the first things that we need to do. And the other thing is we have to use the budget. We have that power. Now we're going to be the majority in Congress come January 1st, and we have to leverage every single opportunity through the budget to undo a lot of this tyrannical and fascist work that Donald Trump and the Republicans have pushed forward.
If they're in the majority, would you vote for Hakeem Jeffries to be the Speaker?
I will vote for Hakeem Jeffries to be the Speaker.
How come?
I think one of the few moments in this federal government where Democrats were proud of the leadership that was happening in Congress came from when we were united during the speaker vote. And Mike Johnson needed 20, 30, 40 times the vote had to come up. Not Hakeem. He got universal consensus.
And you're a Hakeem man.
Well, it's not so much that I'm a Hakeem man.
But you're going to support him.
I will support him. And I'm going to be pushing him to the left, which is the work that we're supposed to be doing. I don't think that, I think his centrist nature is something that I want to contend and push back on.
Well, we're going to have to leave it right there for now. But up next, Assemblywoman Valdez running for Congress with the support of the Democratic Socialists. Assemblywoman Valdez is running for Congress with the support of the Democratic Socialists of America and its poster boy, Mayor Mamdani. So my question to you is this: do endorsements matter in this race?
I think they do matter in this race. This is a district that, voted overwhelmingly for Mayor Mamdani in last year's election, and he and I come out of the same movement. We both have, both Democratic Socialists have both been building within New York 7 and all around New York City. And, what we saw last year is that there's a broad constituency for the kind of platform that we're putting forward. And he's an incredibly important validator in a district where he is just overwhelmingly popular and really beloved by our constituents.
So this is really a contest between progressives and the Democratic Socialists of America. So I'm wondering, given the fact that there's a difference, what is your vision for what you want to do for New York when you get to Washington, and also what you want to do when you're in Washington?
There's a lot of things that we need to do. The reason that I'm running in this race is because I really believe workers deserve it all. And I really believe that working people are capable of organizing their own lives to win those things. I come out of the labor movement. For me, the most important thing is how do we get as many people as possible into unions so they can fight for the things that they deserve? How do we make housing truly and deeply affordable? I think that the federal government has a real role to play in making sure our NYCHA is made whole and in building social housing around New York. And that we have real models that have existed here in New York City and all over the world that we can look to. And of course, we are spending billions and billions of dollars right now on an illegal war, on upholding a genocide in Gaza. And that money should really be in our communities, making sure that we have education and healthcare and the things that actually keep people safe and make our lives dignified.
I know you come out of the labor movement, but there are many people who think that the labor movement needs strengthening.
Absolutely.
That, it's fallen on, I don't want to say hard times, but a lack of respect. So the question is, what would you do to strengthen the labor movement so that there's more respect in power, centers of power in government, not only Washington, but here in New York?
Yeah, and I think you're right that the labor movement has been under attack for decades now. We've seen union density fall across the entire country. New York really is a hot, a point of hope. There's so many union members here, but public sector workers are under attack all over the country. It is incredibly hard to organize your workplace. And so, passing something like the PRO Act, the Protect the Right to Organize Act, I think is probably the best way, immediate way to increase union density, make sure that right to work laws are abolished across the country, do ABC testing so that independent contractors who right now are treated like they're not real employees are and afforded the right to organize. And we need to use every tool in the toolbox. The federal government right now acts like it is it's sitting on the sidelines on a lot of these fights. I think we can be really proactive. My platform includes a federal fund to help new organizing. I think we have a real role to play in proactively helping workers who are up against a lot, up against really entrenched corporate power. So we can take their side in these fights and help them organize, give them some resources, connect them with unions. And I just think it's really essential, not just because unions build a path toward dignified life and good wages, but because they build democracy. When union density is at its highest, democratic engagement is at its highest. And it's just a really important piece of American life that, has been under attack for far too long.
So why are you a better choice to succeed Nydia Velázquez?
I come out of the labor movement, like I said. I think it's a really important perspective to have right now when, we were saying union density in the country is really low. In Congress, it's really, really low. There are very few members of Congress who have been in labor unions, who have been bargaining committee members. Those are experiences that I have as a working person. I think that's a really important voice right now when the labor movement is under attack. And I'll say, too, I've been really out in front talking about the genocide in Gaza since the early days. And I think it's really important, I think, that our elected representatives aren't kind of waiting to see which way the political winds are blowing.
So if you were in Washington, would you vote for money for Israel's defense?
No, I wouldn't.
Either offense or defense, no money for weapons?
No money, no.
What about Iron Dome?
No, I wouldn't support Iron Dome funding as long as Israel is engaging in, open war crimes and flouting international law. I think we have a responsibility to uphold international law in the United States, and we shouldn't be supporting it when countries are violating it.
Would you march in the Israeli Day Parade?
No, I won't be marching in Israel.
How do you feel about the fact that the mayor has decided not to do it, given the fact that a lot of people in the Jewish community see it as something that perpetuates the rising amount of anti-Semitism, which exists in Brooklyn, in the district that you represent?
I don't want to be, I absolutely agree. I think anti-Semitism exists, and it's a scourge in our communities that needs to be stamped out. I'm glad that the mayor is really focused on making sure that he's supporting anti-hate provisions and really funding those provisions in the New York City budget, and is fighting to make sure that New York remains a place that's welcoming for everyone.
His failure to march sends a bad message to the Jewish community?
I think his real investments are the things that people should be looking at. He's spending millions and millions of dollars battling anti-Semitism, and I know that's where his commitments are.
Let's talk about housing. I know it's something that you care a lot about. Yeah. I wonder how you feel about the fact that, do you think that wealthy neighborhoods should be forced to have build affordable housing?
Absolutely. I mean, we're in the midst of a housing crisis. It's really serious. And so I think we need to be talking about where we can be building affordable and deeply affordable housing all over the city. And where there are places that have not been doing that, I think we need to look at those neighborhoods and asking them to help out. Yeah.
You also support something called decommodified housing. Mm-hmm. That means you want to spend more money on NYCHA and things like that. What's the reality of that ever happening, given the fact that the Republicans in Washington haven't felt the need to do that?
We need to be kind of clear-eyed, I think, about the next couple of years and really be fighting for as much funding for NYCHA as we possibly can. NYCHA, like so many other public entitlements, have been under attack, just like the labor movement, for decades and decades by the right wing that wants to see government fail. I really believe that government has a real positive role to play in people's lives, and NYCHA is one example of where that should, NYCHA should be beautiful, it should be welcoming, and we've seen such disinvestment that we're in this massive billions and billions of dollar hole. But we should be fighting for that. We should be fighting to make sure that elevators work, that there's no mold and infestations, and again, that this is beautiful housing. It should be the crown jewel of New York City. And we should be building more. We need to repeal the Faircloth Amendment. We need to be building social housing and standing up against a real estate industry that has made billions and billions of dollars off of our need for safe and stable housing. And the federal government should be leading in that fight. So
I know you voted against the state budget. We only have about a minute left. We have to keep it tight. But Antonio Reynoso says he would have voted for it. So you disagree on that. Why did you vote against it?
I voted against one piece of the budget. I voted against the revenue bill. So the New York State budget is broken up into multiple bills. So I voted against the revenue budget.
But that's the money that was going to come to New York City.
And it was a hard decision to make because there's some good stuff in there. The pied-à-terre tax that many people organized for, came to Albany, rallied in New York City, organized their neighbors for, and that's certainly a victory. But at a moment when 450,000 New Yorkers are about to lose their health care, many thousands will lose their SNAP benefits, we could have been doing so much more in this moment to make sure that the billionaires in New York State who are getting a $12 billion tax cut this year alone are paying their fair share and that we're making our city whole.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it right there for now. But our conversations continue right after the show on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. Thank you for joining me. World Cup 2026 matches here start in just 2 weeks. Do New Yorkers have the fever? Well, they're weighing in on your point. Are you excited to have the World Cup come here?
Yes.
Why?
I like to watch football.
It's the most watched sport in the world.
Not really.
I won't be bothered in any way, shape, or form.
How come?
I don't watch it.
I'm not a soccer fan, Marsha.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Because I like tennis and I hope Jamaica wins.
Given the status of the world right now, sports has taken a back burner for me.
It was gonna be nice. It's coming, but the price tag that they put on these people to pay for a train ticket to go to New Jersey, it's crazy.
I'm very excited because I work in the service industry. I'm a waitress and a bartender over here on the West Side, and I think it's going to be very exciting.
Do you think that New York and New Jersey are ready for all the people?
I'm a little medium on that.
I think so. I hope so.
I think New York and New Jersey is ready.
I think they're trying to do a very good job. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, yeah, we're ready. We're ready for the tourist dollar.
Why?
Why? Because we need it desperately.
We're never really, we always say we're not prepared for something, but then we make a way. We're New Yorkers.
We're going to make it happen.
We will make it happen.
Not at all. We need more staff. The service industry is already, it's not busy, and it's already getting hit. People don't want to work. People don't know how to work, and this whole thing bringing all of this out here is going to show that.
So what needs to be done here to prepare for the tournament?
I don't know. Our mayor should take care of it.
I'm very happy with the new mayor. I think he's doing a great job. He's hit the floor running. He's a great spokesman and ombudsman for the city, so maybe a little higher profile by the mayor.
Tell every New Yorker to get the heck out of here.
I think they should increase the NYPD force, but I don't support the police. But keep us safe.
You know, make sure the bars are well equipped with enough hydration for everyone. But yeah, not much needs to happen.
We need more bartenders, more waiters, more hotel staff. We need more garbage cans. We need a lot more stuff.
One more question. Why is New York such a great place to have a big event like this?
Why? It's the Mecca of the world.
Because this is the greatest city in the world. Why would you not?
It's the most international city that you ever see.
Because it is the melting pot. It has everything. Food, shopping, parks, people.
New York is a good place because it's the center of the universe. And anything involving humanity, culture, music, sports, this is it, baby.
Whether people like to say it or not, it's the capital of the world.
There's a saying, New York or nowhere. I'm a proud believer of that.